doesn't even mention it to the cops, and that's how it happens.
Listen, Scooby. No, Scooby.
I thought it was Velma at the very least.
I like it.
That was Scooby level.
Dang it. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it was good, but there's still the whole problem of snaking the hand through the transom and down to the right level and shooting him in the chest a couple of times.
But if he was if they were both standing on a.
If they were both standing on stilts,
it'd be like a slightly downward angle.
They were both circus performers who happen to walk around all day long, every day in stilts.
No, if they were both standing on a stool, it would have been a slightly downward angle, but...
I don't think so. No. Okay, fine.
So I'm going to ask that we move on.
All right,
okay.
yes.
Okay, let's go to our next theory, which is that our killer was still in the room when the policeman entered the room.
He was a Maltese Falcon.
Yeah.
I like this one.
I like this one.
I like this way more than
he was
in the.
Yeah, he was pretending to be a statue.
The Maltese Falcon.
Yeah, actually,
the whole time.
This reminded me of just today. Actually, it reminded me of this old Mad TV skit. Did you ever see the one with the department store killer mannequin?
Yeah, that was one of the very first episode of the new Doctor Who series when they restarted with Christopher Eccleston. Was mannequins come to life?
Yes, I do remember that.
Same thing in my mind.
So it could have been like that. And this one, these two women it's after hours at the mall and they're cleaning up, and there's this guy dressed in a tennis outfit and pretending to be a mannequin, but he's looks like a total psycho. And he's sort of moving towards them, and then whenever they turn around, he just freezes.
He's like the angels.
Yeah.
From Doctor Who, it's the angels.
And then they say, and then one of them says, I don't know, something about that mannequin just kind of creeps me out. Yeah, and then they go back to whatever they're doing. It's great. It's a hilarious skit. It's called like Mad TV Killer Mannequin if you want to look it up. But yeah, it could have been like that. He just stood there and pretended and just held very still, and they didn't notice him, and he just sort of slid up.
Just to make sure I understand, the whole theory is that the killer was actually still in the apartment when the cops arrived.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can see this theory playing out because door shuts, fight goes down, suddenly here's ladies screaming and people pounding down the hallway, and has to find somewhere to hide. My difficulty is I don't know the layout of the apartment and the way that it's connected to the business. I mean, he could have had sacks of laundry that somebody jumped into to hide and crawled out of in the middle of the night, or they could have been in his wardrobe. But there's a bajillion places that somebody could have, not in the silly, what was the story, the William March way?
Yeah.
But there could have been real places that somebody could have actually hid for hours until everybody left.
Or even simpler than that, somebody could have hid in there. The kid comes in, the cops come in, the crowd comes in, they integrate themselves with the crowd and just makes his or her getaway.
And then, the thing about it is I don't know that there was a crowd in there.
I don't know
the policeman let a crowd of people in there.
That's the trick, right? Is we don't know that.
I don't know.
Listen, we don't think that they should let a crowd in, and yet, what is the story that you did about the preacher that was having the affair, and they let everybody trample all over the scene?
Yeah, the Hall Mills murder in New Jersey.
They shouldn't do that, but they did.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is like I don't know how easy it was to find cop uniforms, or even it could have been a cop.
Well, he was in a laundry.
He was a cop.
Yeah, it could have been a cop, but it could have been in the apartment dressed as a cop. The cop comes in as like, whoa, the body.
Yeah,
he slides behind him and then makes some like pretend running noises, and it's like, oh, here I am, second on the scene. Here, let's do. I mean,
it's like a silent movie. Somebody goes thump 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 thump, and the cop turns around and goes, that's weird. It sounds like somebody's running in a movie.
Well, I mean, like not even that, but just slides in.
I know.
Walks like tiptoes 2 steps back in the hallway, and then walks around the corner back into the room and says, "Here I am. I'm your backup. Let's deal with this case."
Yeah.
You would again assume that cops would know who the other cops in their beat.
Well, it could have been a real cop.
I
mean, back in those days there was a lot more corruption, and so
there's still a fair amount of corruption.
There's some of that, but it was a lot more endemic in those days, and so there probably were the occasional cops who would maybe whack somebody, for one of their mobster friends, So it could have been something like that.
I guess that would be, another.
Yeah, again, I think this was a fairly tiny little apartment, so I don't know how feasible that would actually be to pull off a stunt like that.
I don't either, because we don't really know the layout either. That's the trick.
Yeah.
With the right layout
of the apartment or the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the right layout of the building and the apartment, it could work.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not a good theory.
It's just, again, it all kind of depends, if you got witnesses standing around like bystanders, even if they haven't entered the room, they're blocking the exit from the room.
True.
And, when the cop sort of moves into the frame and says, hey, I'm here, there's got to be at least one or two people who are going to say, where did he come from?
Here's a question. Yeah. Was there a fireplace with like a chimney?
Nah, not that I know.
No idea.
Yeah. Dead. This is like a New York City tenement building. I don't think any of those things had fireplaces.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, those things were tinder boxes to start with.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine they would allow or have a setup to encourage fire.
All right. Well, he may have had a fire because the iron.
Well, stove.
Yeah.
But not a fireplace.
Yeah. Okay, never mind.
All right.
I was going to think it was the,
Came down the chimney?
Or came up.
Santa Claus style.
Snuck out the chimney.
Yeah.
Maybe came in and out.
Or just hid in the chimney.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he hid the chimney the whole time. Yeah. I kind of doubt it.
Yeah,
most using chimneys to get in and out of places
don't
always end badly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really
always.
badly. Always. Yeah. So, I don't think so. Well, let's move on to our next theory, which is very similar to what you were thinking, which is the killer the killer actually was dressed as a cop, and he happened to be the first cop on the scene. So he's like, what he does is he it's like this. So you kill the guy, and then you leave, locking the room behind you, and then when the woman comes and gets you, you come back, and you say like, oh well, knock knock knock. Nobody answered. I'll try the door. It's locked, even though it's not actually locked.
This is an Orient Express situation.
Yeah. I'm not buying this one because, again, the kid did actually go on the inside and actually unlock it from the, so I don't know how the cop really could have faked that.
Well,
but I'm desperate for theories here.
No, I mean, I guess there is like some ambiguity about who went to get the kid.
Yeah.
And where the kid came from. So, is it possible that the cop stuck the key in the door? It wasn't locked. He had the key. He'd locked it from the outside, tried to get in. He said, hey, go find a kid for me. The woman runs away. He opens the door, sticks the key in the lock.
Sticks the key in the inside and closes it again. Still pretending that it's locked.
Still pretending it's locked.
Yeah.
Hoists the kid up over.
Okay, that's a great. I had never considered that interim activity,
because that's part of these locks that we're talking about. Is bolts aside, those locks you can turn right forever and think you're unlocking it. You could turn left, and you turn it the 360 degrees left, or to the right, whichever way it is. And you lock it, and you can keep turning it, as you mentioned, forever, and it'll just keep locking it and locking and locking, right?
Yeah.
Or you can turn it the other way and keep unlocking it.
Yeah.
And it's likely that you don't really know. It kind of makes the same kind of clunk
confused,
sound a lot of times.
Well, and so it could have been
So he sticks the key in, locks it back up, hoists the kid up, and the kid goes down and unlocks it and says, the key was in the, whatever, I've relocked it, blah, blah, and goes in. Or the woman stays, the cop goes to get a kid and says, hey, kid, I'll pay you, $20 that time money.
$20 to pretend.
More like a penny.
A penny that time money. Like, some absurd amount to a child to say this door was locked. And again, you would assume, right, that they would have done their due diligence and that kid would have admitted and blah, blah, blah.
They would have gotten to the bottom of it,
But also it's possible, maybe not. But I kind of like this interim.
Well,
he says to the woman, go find a kid. You have a kid, right? Of course you do. You're a woman. You have a kid.
Go find a kid. Go find your smallest kid.
Find your smallest child.
We're going to shove him through the transom into a crime scene.
And she goes, yes, of course I will. And he sticks the key in. And
there's only one problem with this theory, and that's just, even though it's my own theory, and that is that if the cop actually was the hitman, which is not beyond the realm of possibility.
Oh, no, it's not unheard of.
No, not at all. But if he was, then why go through all these gyrations and essentially call a lot of attention to this case to make it this locked door mystery kind of dealio when that's going to cause a lot more attention to be paid to this whole thing, when typically, murders in those days, especially poor immigrants and stuff like that, they probably weren't investigated too terribly hard.
But again, we've talked about this in frickin' numerous stories. What was the Jim Gray? Was he the one that was on the boat that disappeared and his wife was implicated as doing it to him?
Oh no, that
the
was
Australian one.
Yeah, no, that was in Tasmania. That was What's her?
But you know,
yeah,
like
it was
nobody
Bob Chappell
expected that story to really make the news. It was this guy disappeared, and it's weird. And if his wife really did it, she was like, people disappear from their boats all the time, and the boats go down, and it's no big deal. And suddenly, boom! We've talked about this before. Boom! It sticks, and the cop is like, OS. I have to fabricate a story real fast because everybody's asking me.
Fabricate a story about what?
Well,
what happened
about the locked door?
Yeah.
I have a theory about this.
Okay.
Well,
my theory is that since we don't know how long it took this woman to find this cop, we don't know where she found him. He could have been walking down the hallway. And she came down, exiting the crime scene.
You could have been standing right outside the front door.
Well, I mean, he could have, and she could have said, "Oh, thank goodness, officer! I heard a scuffle.
Yeah,
please help me."
Yeah,
and he thought, "Oh crap."
Yeah.
Whatever. He's a cop, but also he's a human.
Yeah.
And he thinks, "Oh, she knows I did this. Okay, cool. We got to find a way to make it seem like she does, like I didn't do it." So he goes to the door and he goes, "Oh, it's locked." And she goes, "Oh my gosh, officer, what do you mean it's locked? How could it be locked?" And he says, "I don't know. Well, look, this window's open. Well, you go find your smallest child."
Movies have you been watching to come up with that?
No, I'm just saying there's some...
So your vocal scheme is
it's
getting
good.
at.
It's good. Yeah.
Quick thinking on the officer's part.
Right, but also like kind of dumb thinking, right? Because he could have been like, "Wow, whoops, an immigrant got killed."
Yeah.
Who cares?
Right?
Yeah.
But
he's not Irish. I don't care.
People are often idiots, especially if they are carrying out a hit for the mob or whatever.
Yeah.
If they're doing something bad, their gut reaction is going to be to try to cover for it.
Yeah.
It's not a good. It's not great.
Strange way to cover it. Strange way to cover it.
It is, but I can kind of understand the thought process of saying, "Well, it's locked, so." And maybe even she said, "Well, the window's open, so I have a kid. He'll fit right through that. We'll see. He'll unlock it." And the cop goes, "Oh my God, what? No. Like, why are you doing this to me?"
Yeah, the only thing I can think of
you
why...
You overly helpful person. Yeah. Stop it.
I mean, it's possible. It's not a great theory, but none of these are really great theories anyway. So
there's only one conceivable reason why I can think that he would claim that it was locked, and that is that he was not totally sure that Isidore was yet totally dead.
Right, which is possible.
And so, okay, let's pretend we'll let him bleed out for a little while they go find a kid. But other than that, I can't really think of any reason. But that is a possibility right there. But other than that, I can't think of any possible conceivable reason why he would say, "Oh, hey, look at this, a locked door mystery."
Unless
I don't get it.
Unless she saw him coming. I mean, kind of closing.
Even then, it's like it doesn't make any sense.
Well, if she saw him at the door and she said,
but if she saw him closing the door, then it can't be a locked door mystery by definition.
If it was at the very, this would be like an incredible coincidence, right? This would be just one of the most incredible coincidences in history. But if she saw him at the door and he had just closed it, and she goes, "Officer, this is crazy. I just heard a scuffle coming from there." And he goes, "Yeah, I heard the scuffle too. I was trying to get in, but it's locked."
Yeah.
It would be an incredible. I'm literally just spitballing at this point, but
that wouldn't be even that incredible a mystery. Every account that I've heard, she went and got a police officer. He wasn't just standing there. But
we've also already decided that the
reporting is not that
amazing.
Great. Yeah, that's true too.
No, but it's not. Like I said, I'm spitballing. It's not a great theory, but it's something
it's a fun
throw
theory.
out.
I'm struggling because all of the theories we've done and all of the theories that we have here,
they're all bad.
They're really grainy.
No good theory.
They're very grainy.
Yeah, there's
that's the nice way I can say it.
Not much reason for the cop, if he was a killer, to actually create a locked door mystery.
True.
There really isn't.
Let's just take that off of the table, though. They didn't intend to create the genre of the locked door mystery.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't, because that had already been a thing.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, locked door mysteries.
There was at least one more.
Was there at least one before that?
Joseph Bound Elwell in 1920.
When was the Wallace case?
Are you making this up? Because
No.
I didn't know that. Well, no. Okay, let me rephrase what I'm saying. I didn't think in the general consciousness that such a thing as a locked door mystery was a thing. I didn't know that people were calling it that and would say, let's create one. That's where I'm going with that statement. I didn't think people knew how to say, hey, I'd like to create my own blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, no, there actually had been a well-publicized case only 9 years previously.
Okay. Then I take it back.
Yeah.
I didn't quite realize that that's one of the issues I had with they wanted to make a locked door mystery.
Yeah,
the first fully fledged example of this type of story is generally held to be Edgar Allan Poe's The Murder of the Rue Morgue in 1841.
Yeah.
So in the mid 1800s is when locked door mysteries rose to.
Theoretically, Poe created that based off of some actual thing.
One would assume, but. That they rose to prominence in popular culture in the mid 1800s. This was the 1930s. They were a thing.
By the way, can we talk about Poe for a second?
Yeah. What about him?
So we
already did two Poe mysteries.
Oh, I know, but I'm just so I have been binging Altered Carbon on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
That's
just a disaster. Yeah.
Oh no! The whoever it is that has been writing the script for it and then playing the Poe character. I did not read a lot of Poe, but is to me the perfect Poe character. So if you haven't watched it,
it's very apropos. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, we are now friends again. Continue on, my friend.
Okay. Let's move on to another theory here. This one actually makes a little more sense. And that is, what if there was a secret passage?
And we're not friends again.
Oh, you don't like this one?
I hate this theory.
Yeah. Well, it makes the most sense because really, why bother with all this locked door crap? But if there's a secret passage into there through the walls, or
like
the
you
floor,
pick up
whatever.
the what's the Murphy bed?
Yeah, the Murphy bed.
Like he's got a Murphy bed that opens and lets a hole in the floor, kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe something like that. A group of floorboards you lift up out of the way, and there's a hole down in the basement, and it makes the most sense because otherwise, why bother? But apparently the police had thought of that. They looked really hard.
Of course they did.
Yeah. Of course it could have been super well concealed. But apparently the police tore the place apart. I mean, they really tore up the floorboards and everything.
So I have known people that have had those kind of situations in their home, whether they were new or old, and it is only when it is one very large feature that covers another feature in the home, like a sliding bookcase or a swinging bookcase that goes against the wall, that they tend to go unnoticed. This whole, like, a lot of times you see I pulled the rug aside and I grabbed the ring and this set of floorboards popped out.
Yeah.
After short order, they tend to not appear as if they should sync together.
Like they don't blend it. They don't blend
right
completely.
Because they're not sealed. And so if anybody's ever worked with wood and let a cured piece of wood sit next to another, they bend and they twist in non-proportional ways to one another.
Growing up, one of our neighbors has actually still has a beach house. And he's kind of like a actual pirate in life, and the beach house that he has a bunch of these. The entrance to the master bedroom is a bookcase, hidden doorway.
Okay.
And then there's a secret treasure trove room upstairs. There's this bunk room that has like 4 bunk beds, and there's a room hidden behind one of the panels behind the bunk bed that the panels are right behind the posts. You have to know it's there.
That's where you put the seams.
They're right behind. Yeah, it's really well hidden because the posts are totally in the wall. If
you're looking at, say, like, you've got to do something like that to hide the seams, because, like, if you've got a plain plaster wall, like the walls of this room right here, hiding that seam is
impossible.
Really, really hard.
But behind, like, that chest of drawers there could totally be a hidden whatever.
There's definitely ways to do it. Of course, the police thought of that.
You would think.
I mean, they have thought of that.
So I want to know how much, when you say they tore the place apart, I really want to know, were they in there with claw hammers tearing crap up?
I don't know. I had heard they actually took up floorboards. But again, I'm not totally sure about that.
But I mean, the landlord like that.
Yeah, I know. Hey, they're all done. It's like, well, we're all done here. See you later.
Thanks, Tommy. Yeah. We'll see you next week at the ballroom fundraiser.
Yeah, but, I'm assuming they did stuff like, if there were bookcases and tables, they moved them aside to look at the wall behind. They took up the rugs.
Yeah, that would be simple and make sense, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, they must have. I mean, because, you've got to look for that secret passage. They didn't find one. They looked pretty hard. Yeah, and again, these are guys that are policemen that are used to searching places, and they know where people hide.